The psychology of innovation. Innovation is key to business survival, and companies put substantial resources into inspiring employees to develop new ideas. Creating new ideas is very important for a company to survive. Companies spend a lot of money and time to encourage their workers to think of new ideas. Innovation is key to business survival, and the companies put substantial resources into inspiring employees to ideas. develop new ideas. Creating new ideas is very important for a company to survive. Companies put substantial resources um, into inspiring employees. Companies spend a lot of money and time, substantial resources. That means spend a lot of their workers to develop new ideas, to think of new ideas. Innovation is key to business survival. That means it's very important for a company to survive. There are nevertheless people working in luxurious state-of-art centers designed to stimulate innovation who find that their environment doesn't make them feel at all creative. There are nevertheless, but still, people working in luxurious state-of-art centers. Some people who work in beautiful modern offices built to help them be creative. Um, Designed to stimulate innovation who find that their environment does not make them feel at all creative. Do not feel creative at all. And there are those who don't have a budget or much space but who innovate successfully. And some people who work in small places with little money who do not have budget, that means little money, or do not have much space, that means who work in small places but who innovate successfully, that means they are actually very successful in creating new things. Paragraph 2. For Robert B. Cialdini, professor of psychology at Arizona State University, one reason that companies don't succeed as often as they should is that innovation starts with recruitment. Robert B. Cialdini, a psychology professor, says one reason companies often fail is because innovation begins when they hire new employees. One reason that companies do not succeed as often as they should is that innovation starts with recruitment. Um, Company don't succeed, the company often fail, is because innovation begins when they hire new employees. As they should is that innovation starts with recruitment. Research shows that the fit between an employee's value and a company's value make a difference to what contribution they make and whether 2 years after they join they are still at the company. Studies show that if a worker's personal belief and company's goals match well, the worker will do better work and is more likely to stay in the company for at least 2 years. Research show that studies show that the fit between the company's and employees' values and company's values makes a difference to contribution they make. If a worker's personal beliefs and company's goals fit, that means match well, the worker will do better work. Differences makes a differences to what contribution they make. The worker will do better work, and whether 2 years after they join they are still at the company, and is more likely to stay in the company for at least 2 years. Studies at Harvard Business School shows that although some individuals may be more creative than others, almost every individual can be creative in the right circumstances. Research from Harvard says some people may be naturally creative. Most people can also be creative if they are in a supportive environment. Studies at Harvard Business School shows that although some individuals may be more creative than others, some people may be naturally more creative than others. Almost every individual can be creative in the right circumstances, but most people can also be creative if they are in a supportive environment, that is right circumstances. One of the most famous photographs in the story of rock and roll emphasizes child abuse. A famous photo from rock and roll history. Rock and roll history shows in the 1956 picture of singers Elvis Presley, Carl Perkins, John Cash, and Jerry Lee Lewis jamming at a piano in Sun Studio in Memphis tells a hidden story. In 1956, shows showed a famous photo showed tells a hidden story showed singer Elvis Presley, Carl Perkins, Johnny Cash, and Jerry Lee Lewis playing jamming at piano, playing music in Sun Studios, playing music together in Sun Studio. Sun Million-Dollar Quartet could have been a quintet. These four were called the Million-Dollar Quartet. Missing from the picture is Roy Orbison, a great natural singer than Lewis, Perkins, or Cash. But one singer, Roy Orbison, who was missing, who was probably even better than some of them. Sam Phillips, who owned Sun, wanted to revolutionize popular music with songs that fused black and white music and country and blues. Sam Phillips, the owner of Sun Studio, wanted to change music by mixing black and white music style and country and blues. Presley, Cash, Perkins, and Lewis instinctively understood Phillips' ambition and believed it. The four singers understood and supported Phillips' big idea. Orbison wasn't inspired by the goal and only ever achieved a one hit with the Sun label. But Roy Orbison didn't feel excited by Phillips' goal and only had one successful song with Sun Studios. The value of it matters, says Cialdini, because innovation is in part a process of change, and under that pressure we as a species behave differently. Cialdini says matching value is important. Value fit matters. Value fit matters is important. Values is important because innovation is in part a process of change, and under that pressure we as a species behave differently. Creating new things involve change, and people often act differently when things are changing. The value fit matters, says Cialdini. Matching values is important because innovation is in part a process of change. Innovation, that means creating new things, involve change, and under that pressure we as a species behave differently, and people often act differently when things are changing. When things change, we are hardwired to play it safe. Humans naturally like to avoid risks when things are changing. When things are changing, we are hardwired to play it safe. Um, Humans naturally like to avoid risks. Managers should therefore adopt an approach that appears counterintuitive. They should explain what stands to be lost if the company fails to seize a particular opportunity. Managers should try something surprising. Managers should therefore adopt an approach that appears counterintuitive. Try something. They should explain what stands to be lost if the company fails to seize a particular opportunity. They should tell workers what the company might lose if they don't take the chance. Particular opportunity. If the company fails to seize a particular opportunity, if they don't take the chance, they should explain what stands to be lost. They should tell workers what the company might lose. What stands to be lost? What the company might lose if the company fails to seize a particular opportunity, if they don't take the chance. Studies show that we invariably take more gambles when threatened with a loss than when offered a reward. Research shows that people take more risk when they might lose something than when they might win something. We invariably take more gambles. People take more risks when threatened with a loss, when they might lose something, than when offered a reward, than when they might win something. Study shows that we invariably take more gambles when threatened with a loss than when offered a reward. Research shows people take more risk when they might lose something than when they might win something. Paragraph 5. Managing innovation is a delicate art. Managing new ideas is very difficult and needs careful handling. Managing innovation is a delicate art. It's very difficult and needs careful handling. It's easy for a company to be pulled in conflicting directions as the marketing, product development, and finance departments is get different feedbacks from different sets of people. Different departments in a company like marketing, product, finance can easily get confused because one gets different opinions from different customers. It is easy for a company to be pulled in conflicting directions as the marketing, product development, and finance departments is get different feedback from different sets of people. Different department in a company like marketing, product development, and finance can easily get confused. Conflicting direction. It's easy for a company to build in conflicting directions. Can easily get confused because each one gets different feedbacks, different opinions from different sets of people, from different customers. Different department in a company like marketing, product, and finance can easily get confused because each one gets different opinion from different customers. And without a system which ensures collaborative exchanges within the company, it's also easy for small pockets of innovation to disappear if there is no good system. Without a system, if there is no system which ensures collaborating exchange to help people work together, work together within the company, um, it's also easy for small pockets of innovation to disappear. Small groups with great ideas can be lost or ignored. To disappear. Small groups with great ideas can be lost or ignored. And without a system which ensures collaborating exchanges within the company, if there is no good system to help people work together, it is also easy for small pockets of innovation to disappear. Small groups with great ideas can be lost or ignored. Innovation is a contact sport. Innovation needs active communication between people like a team or a sport. Um, you can't brief people just by saying, "We are going in the direction and I am going to take with me." You can't just tell people to follow your plan without involving them in the process. You can't brief people. You can't just tell people just by saying, "We are going in that direction and I am going to take you with me." Follow your plan without involving them in the process. Cialdini believes that the follow the leader syndrome is dangerous, not least because it encourages bosses to go it alone. Cialdini says just following the leader is risky, is dangerous. Cialdini believes this follow the leader syndrome is dangerous. Following the leader is risky, not least because it encourages bosses to go it alone, because it makes leaders think they should make decisions alone. It's been scientifically proven that three people will be better than one at solving problems, even if that one person is the smartest person in the field. Studies prove that it's been scientifically proven that three people will be better, three people working together solve problems better than one at solving problems, better than one, even if that one person is the smartest person in the field. One person working alone. Studies prove that three people working together solve problems better than one smart person working alone. To prove his points, to support his idea, Cialdini cites an interview with molecular biologist James Watson. Cialdini mentions an interview with scientist James Watson. To prove his point, to support his idea, Cialdini mentions an interview with molecular biologist James Watson. Cialdini mentions an interview with scientist James Watson. Watson, together with Francis Crick, discovered the structure of DNA and genetic information carrier of all living organisms. Watson and Francis Crick discovered the shape and structure of DNA, which carries genetic information in living things. When asked how they had cracked the code ahead of an array of highly accomplished rival investigators, he said something that stunned me. When people asked Watson how he and Crick discovered DNA before many other smart scientists, he said something surprising. He said something that stunned me. Surprising. When asked how they cracked the code ahead of array of highly accomplished rival investigators before than many other smart scientists, he said he and Crick had succeeded because they were aware that they weren't the most intelligent of the scientists pursuing the answer. Watson said they won because they knew they were not the smartest ones. The smartest scientist was called Rosalind Franklin, who Watson said was so intelligent she rarely sought advice. Watson said Rosalind Franklin was the smartest, but she didn't often ask others for help. She rarely sought advice. She didn't often ask others for help. Paragraph 7. Teamwork taps into one of the basic drivers of human behavior. Teamwork, that means working together, taps into, connects one of the basic drivers of human behaviors to something very natural in people. Working together connects to something very natural in people. Basic drivers of human behavior. The principle of social proof is so pervasive that we don't even recognize it, says Cialdini. Cialdini says the idea of social proof, following what others do, is everywhere, but we don't always notice it. The principle of social proof the principle of social proof is so pervasive. The idea of social proof is everywhere, but we don't even recognize it, but we don't always notice it. If your project is being registered, for example, by a group of veteran employees, ask another old-timer to speak up for it. If experienced workers do not like your project, ask another experienced workers to support your idea. This works better. If your project being resisted, if experienced workers don't like your project by a group of veteran employees, um, for example, by a group of veteran employees, ask another old timer to speak up for it. Ask another experienced worker to support your ideas. This works better. Cialdini is not alone in advocating this strategy. Other experts also agree with this idea. Cialdini not alone. Other experts also agree with this idea. Research shows the peer power used horizontally, not vertically, is much more powerful than any boss's speech. Research shows that influence from co-workers, not from a boss, is more powerful. Peer power used horizontally, not vertically. The influence from co-worker, not from a boss, is more powerful. The peer power influence from co-worker used horizontally, not vertically, is much more powerful than any boss's speech. Influence from co-workers is more powerful than a boss's speech. Paragraph 8. Writing, visualizing, and prototyping can stimulate the flow of new ideas. Writing things down, drawing ideas, and making simple models, prototyping, can stimulate the flow of new ideas, can help create more new ideas. Cialdini cites scores of research papers and historical events that prove that even something as simple as writing defines every individual's engagement in the project. Cialdini says many studies and real-life events shows that writing helps people feel more connected and serious about a project. Cialdini cites scores of research papers and historical events that prove that even something as simple as writing depends every individual's engagement in the project. Cialdini shares many studies, scores of research papers, and historical events, that means real life events, scores that shows that even something as simple as writing defines every individual's engagement in the project. Writing helps people feel more connected. Writing helps people. Writing deepens every individual's engagement. More people connected and serious about a project. It is, he says, the reason why all those competitions on breakfast cereal packets encouraged us to write in saying, in no more than 10 words, I like Kellogg's corn flakes because. This is why breakfast cereal companies asked people to write things like, I like Kellogg's cornflakes because in competitions. It is, he says, the reason why all those competitions on breakfast cereal packets encouraged us to write in saying, in no more than 10 words, I like Kellogg's corn flakes because. This is why breakfast cereal packets, cereal companies asked people to write about them within uh, 10 words. The very act of writing makes us more likely to believe it. When we write something, we start to believe it more. The very act of writing makes us more likely to believe it. When we write something, we start to believe it more. Authority doesn't have to inhibit innovation, but it often does. Being a boss doesn't have to stop new ideas, but often it does. Authority, that means a boss doesn't have to inhibit to stop, doesn't have to stop new ideas, but it often does. The wrong kind of leadership will lead to what Cialdini calls captainitis, the regrettable tendency of team members to opt out of team responsibilities that are properly theirs. If the leadership style is bad, workers might step back from their responsibilities. Cialdini calls this captainitis, the wrong kind of leadership. If the leadership style is bad, will lead to what Cialdini calls captainitis. Cialdini calls this captainitis, the regrettable tendency of team members to opt out of team responsibilities that are properly theirs. Workers might step back from their responsibilities. He called it captainitis because he says crew members of multi-pilot aircraft exhibit a sometimes deadly passivity when the flight captain makes a clearly wrong-headed decision. He uses the word captainitis because sometimes pilots on a plane stay silent even when the captain is making a dangerous mistake. Okay, he used the word captainitis because sometimes crew members of multi-pilot aircraft exhibit a sometimes deadly passively when the flight captain makes a clearly wrong-headed decision. When the flight captain makes a clearly wrong-headed decision, captain is making a dangerous decision. Pilots, crew members of multi-pilot aircraft exhibit a sometimes deadly passively. Stay silent. This behavior is not, he says, unique to air travel, but can happen in any workplace where the leader is overbearing. This doesn't only happen in airplanes. It can happen in any job if the leader is too controlling. This behavior is not. This doesn't only happen in airplanes, he says, unique to air travel, but can happen in any workplace. It can happen any workplace where the leader is overbearing. If the leader is too controlling. Paragraph 10. At the other end of the scale is the 1980s Memphis Design Collective, a group of young designers for whom the only rule was that there was no rules. On the opposite side, at the other end of the scale, at the other end of the scale, on the opposite side, there was a group of designers in the 1980s. Is the 1980s Memphis Design Collective, a group of young designers. A group of designers in the 1980s called the Memphis Group, for whom the only rule was that there was no rules. Their only rule was to have no rules. This environment encouraged a free interchange of ideas, which led to more creative with form, function, color, and materials that revolutionized attitudes to furniture design. Their often free-thinking way allows them to share ideas easily. They created new styles in shape, use, color, and materials, which changed the way people thought about furniture design, that revolutionized attitudes to furniture design. This environment encouraged a free interchange of ideas, which led to more creativity with form, function, color, materials, with revolutionized attitudes to furniture design. Many theorists believe the idea boss should lead from behind, taking pride in collective accomplishment and giving credit where it is due. Many experts, many theorists believe the ideal boss should lead from behind. The best boss should lead quietly from behind, taking pride in collective accomplishment, feel proud of team success, and giving credit where it is due, and give proper credit to everyone. Many theorists believe the ideal boss should lead from behind, taking pride in collective accomplishment and giving credit where it is due. Cialdini says leaders should encourage everyone to contribute and simultaneously assure all concerned that every recommendation is important to making the right decision and will be given full attention. Cialdini says leaders should make sure everyone feels their ideas are valuable and will be carefully considered. Leaders should encourage everyone to contribute and simultaneously assure all concerned that every recommendation is important to making the right decision and will be given full attention. The frustrating thing about innovation is that there are many approaches but no magic formula. The frustrating thing about innovation is there are many approaches, there are many ways to do, but no magic formula, but no perfect solution. However, a manager who wants to create a truly innovative culture can make their job a lot easier by recognizing the psychological realities. But a manager can make innovation easier if they understand this human psychology fact. However, a manager who wants to create a truly innovative culture can make innovation easier, make can make their job a lot easier by recognizing this psychological reality. If they understand this human psychology fact, if, however, a manager who wants to create a truly innovative culture can make their job a lot easier, to make their innovation easier by recognizing these psychological realities, if they understand this human psychology fact.